At PVM, what we do changes lives.
Our second testimonial will be given by Mr. David Simpson. From the Heart is his theme. Mr. Simpson is a resident of Tomei Rivertown here in Detroit. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is David Simpson, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and sharing my story with me and how Tomei Rivertown and PVM literally saved my life. Art had always been a passion to me. Anything that was in drawing, painting, sketching, building, it didn't matter if it was pertaining to art. I loved to do it. And at the age of 12, my older brother decided to put a singing group together, and they needed a singer. And of course, I ended up joining the group, and at the age of 13, we signed our first recording contract with Boss and 10 High Records, and we were known as the celebrities, and our hit song was I Choose You and Good Night. It was some very good times, but unfortunately things sort of went down the hill for me, and I ended up having to divorce. Things was just really bad for me. So I ended up at 20, I married my first wife, and we had 5 kids, 4 boys and 1 girl. And so I decided to put my own group together, and we were known as Rare Essence. And we were on the Atlantic label, and our hit record was Disco Fever. And that's me at the top. We traveled around the country. We were playing at various places. We performed at the Detroit Auto Show. But what was most exciting to me was when we performed at the Pontiac Silverdome, and we performed during the Detroit Pistons halftime. And it was just exciting, and I knew, wow, I've got it made now. But it took a bad turn, and I ended up divorcing and moving in with my mother, and I had to file bankruptcy. And after a few years after that, I remarried again, and I joined the 13-piece band that we were known as the Rare Blend. We traveled across the country. We performed at various places. Well, there I go. I'm back on it again. I just knew I was on my way. Unfortunately, I ended up getting cancer and had to put my music on hold. And things got kind of bad. And it was sort of rough on my wife and my marriage. And we ended up separating. She moved to Texas, and I ended up going back with my mother, but by that time, she was very ill. After that, me and my wife started talking, and then we got back together, decided to get back together, so I moved to Texas. And things were going well for a while. Then I hit another lump. I ended up finding out that I had congested heart failure. And so they had to put me on a LVAD, and that's a machine that keeps your heart pumping. And so every night I had to be plugged up, and during the day you ran off of batteries. And so my wife didn't want to go through the trauma that she had went through with me having the cancer, so we ended up divorcing. and I moved back to Detroit with my oldest son and his family. And so I started working on my own CD, and that CD was entitled David Michael, A New Beginning. Sometimes I wonder, will I find a friend? But have you know it, another tragedy hit me again. I ended up getting pneumonia, not once, but 3 times. Ended up going into the hospital. And the doctors didn't believe that I would make it because I had gotten really worse. But with my faith being as strong as it was, I sort of bounced back. And then we decided maybe a heart transplant would be a great idea for me. And they put me on the transplant list and ended up taking me off of it because my living situation had become very unstable. And I didn't have enough insurance to cover the surgery. And within that time, I had moved about 5 times. But later on, I ended up moving in with my niece. So they ended up putting me back on the transplant list. And within about 3 months, I ended up getting my heart. Thank God. And while the time I was in the hospital, my niece called me, and she was looking for me a place to stay. And she found the Tomei Rivertown Senior Apartments. When she called me, she said, well, guess what, Aunt? I found you a place. So I was very happy, you know, afraid also because at that, I didn't think I would be able to afford it because of my financial situation. And but after talking to her and Mrs. Wilcox, I decided to go ahead and take the chance. And it was truly a blessing for me. So after moving into the Tomei Rivertown, I ended up joining the PACE program. And during that time, I sort of rediscovered myself and started back to drawing. And after 35 years of not drawing, I didn't think I was going to have that talent again. And these are some of my artwork. And I also started back singing again. And if it hadn't been for Tomei Rivertown and PVM, I don't know where I don't even think I would even be here today. And that's one reason why I support the Rivertown and PVM program, because of what it has done for me. And I would ask that if, you know, everyone would join me in supporting this program, because it is a very good program. It gave me a new lease on life. It turned my whole life around. And you could see the results, because if you'd have seen me when I came out of the hospital, I looked like a chicken. But thank you all for coming and sharing this moment with me, and ask that you continue to help me support the Rivertown and PVM program for what it has done for me and what it has done for a lot of other fortunate people like myself. And thank you once again.
Learn more at pvm.org or call 248-281-2020.